The Holocaust was the organized murder of millions of Jewish people, queer people, people with disabilities, and other persecuted groups by the Nazi regime during World War II. The word comes from the Greek word holocauston, which refers to a sacrifice by fire. Jews' persecution by the Nazi regime starting in 1933, when Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany. The United Nations designated January 27 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The date marks the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest of the German Nazi concentration camps, in 1945. Starting in 1939, the Nazi government ordered all Jewish people to wear a yellow Star of David on their clothing. This tactic isolated Jews from the rest of society and made it easier for them to be identified and targeted. Nearly 6 million Jewish people died during the Holocaust. Ultimately, 2/3 of all Jewish people living in Europe during World War II were killed by the Nazi regime. Of the about 6 million Jewish people who were murdered in the Holocaust, 1.5 million were children. In addition, millions of other individuals were also killed during the Holocaust, including Roma, Jehovah's Witnesses, queer people, and people with disabilities. A common statistic claims the total number of victims to be 11 million people, 6 million Jews and 5 million others. Nazi Germans murdered the prisoners of concentration camps by shooting them. After experimentation, it was determined that gassing could murder more people at once and would be less costly. The most famous gas used in the gas chambers was called Zyklon B. Nazi doctors also performed numerous experiments on the prisoners without their consent. Despite many rumors, Nazi leader Adolf Hitler was not Jewish. Being Jewish means following the religious and/or cultural traditions and beliefs of Judaism, which Hitler never did. He was raised in a Catholic household. Hitler also did not have Jewish ancestors. Hitler was obsessed with the idea of the superiority of the pure German race, which he called Aryan, and with the need for living space for that race to expand. In the decade after he was released from prison, Hitler took advantage of the weakness of his enemies to enhance his party's status and rise from obscurity to power. After President Paul von Hindenburg's death in 1934, Hitler became Germany's supreme ruler. Although Nazi is short for National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazis weren't actually socialist or supportive of workers. They picked words they believed would get Germans to support them. The Nazis believed they would stay for 1,000 years. They were actually in control of Germany for 12. In the period after Holocaust, many countries decided that they could not leave it up to individual countries to protect the rights of their people. This was the birth of the modern human rights movement, beginning with the creation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Multiple countries, including Germany, France, and Austria, began denying that the Holocaust happened. Acts of genocide was repeated many times throughout the history as Holocaust, Armenian genocide and Cambodian genocide. All of them were motivated by political or religious causes. We must be thankful that this era has gone and condemned these brutal acts. Wish this video was useful and informative for you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.